If not, consider subscribing. I'm gonna try to go through quite a bit today. I'm just making these videos live because my editing software is currently unavailable, and so here we go. I've only got a single take. I have a lot of things I want to go through. I'm going to try to remember to hit them all. I'm going to actually start an SPY, and then we'll get into AMC GameStop, and we'll hit the rest of the symbols. Then, I've been following a leading diagonal triangle through here, which has proven to be very beneficial. I've been calling these moves with a lot of accuracy, and I'm very proud to say that. If I go into the 1 minute chart, you can see that we had a bounce through pre-market and then on through Monday. This is what I was expecting after the big dump we saw on Friday. I took profits down here, and then I waited and I loaded back up as price started to push higher in a rising diagonal triangle in wave C, which is a true rising wedge. And I characterized that through here like this, where we got a break above this upward trend line, which is the AC trend line, and then we had a breakdown following that. I was saying if we broke above this level at 450, there might be some more upside, but really we're just waiting for the big dump, and sure enough, there it is, and you can watch that in my last video, forecasted that with a lot of accuracy. We've seen that uptrend break, and then the price fell down, and I took profits in the left shoulder of this little inverted head and shoulder pattern that we're seeing form now, and I was able to spot this because of the motive wave count that is completing right here. And you're going to notice that in the RSI there is a series of bullish divergences that break, and that typically gives us that significant low that shows us the end of the trend. And sure enough, we're having the price now bounce up and challenge that 446.73 bearish continuation level. From this point on, what I'm looking for is another reactionary bounce, another little uptrend through here. And I've conceptualized what that may or may not look like moving in through tomorrow and Thursday. Of course, we're going to get big CPI data this week, and that's really what's going to drive markets, I believe. I am still expecting that food and energy will show bumps up in CPI, and that will spook the markets. If this does play out just like this, that's great. There's a pretty low likelihood of that. Nonetheless, essentially what I'm saying through here is that now we're going to break this leading diagonal triangle for a reactionary wave that will form wave B, which is my least favorite wave, and it can go any which way, and so I'm kind of sitting it out. Today I took profits on my SPXU, which is a short ETF of SPY. I took profits on those shares. I also sold most of the calls that I have. I still have one runner that doesn't expire until, I believe, like the 18th of September, and so it has more time to run if we get a big drop. So I'm here. I'm now sitting mostly in cash. I'm really happy with the way that I traded this. It's been fantastic. If you're following the Discord, it's been a great time. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Let's go ahead and look at AMC really quickly now. AMC is, of course, pushing a little higher, but struggling to set a significant high. And this is something I was expecting. We're moving kind of through an ascending broadening wedge. We're kind of getting a downward breakout of that now. If I look into the 15-minute chart, I'm going to get a few more highs and lows, and that'll help us draw that chart pattern a little more accurately. This looks pretty good, actually. We definitely have 5 touch points, and whenever we don't cross the pattern entirely, I'm going to call that a partial either decline or let's see here, partial rise or a partial decline. Here we have a partial rise where the price failed to rise to the opposing trend line after bouncing for the third time off of one side, which here was the bottom. And now we're seeing that downward breakout. We're going to get bearish continuation on a smaller degree here at 510, and we'll be looking for a price target towards the beginning of this pattern towards 480. Now earnings are coming up tomorrow, and it's going to be important to watch those very carefully. Remember, great news about Barbie doesn't hit earnings for another quarter, and so really we're looking backwards, and I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get good news or not. Hopefully the AMC popcorn sales are going all right. I haven't seen that product. I haven't been following AMC very closely in that way. Again, I'm waiting for AMC to turn a profit, and once AMC turns a profit, then I'll be way more bullish on the company. But until then, it's very, very, very speculative, and I'm not very bullish. Still looking for sideways trading in AMC and APE as well, coming above that bearish reversal at 177. Maybe we just spin here for the foreseeable future, really for quite a long time. And the RSI is going to get really small. We're going to see overbought and oversold hit a ton. The price of APE and AMC will probably become more stable in the near future. We've definitely reached the top of corrective trend C here, and looking for another set of 3 heading down, probably towards 469. But again, watch earnings. Let's go to GameStop next. I was looking for a corrective bounce after we found a low at my target 2086. We got a bounce, and then we immediately started another move down. So this is 3 waves up and 3 waves down. The way I'd be counting this in Elliott wave is A, B, and C, and another A, B, and C wave. We'll see if we get a new low past 2022. I don't think we will. Rather, I would probably suspect that we're in for a new motive wave heading higher, forming a double bottom. And so I'm going to put a bullish continuation level right here at the peak between those 2 valleys. Bullish continuation. If we get above there, we'll talk bullish price targets on GameStop. Now, GameStop isn't a tech company, but it makes me think about tech. Let's go ahead and look at Apple, which has just been dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. This is a wild chart. There are multiple wave extensions through here, and I haven't tried counting them yet. I see a sideways correction, a couple of sideways corrections in a row, which tells me that we're probably starting to resolve some of those wave extensions. I'm thinking it's possible this sharp correction back here that started the spill and this sideways correction are waves 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2 and 4 here alternating in form. Probably going to get a little pop and one more small drop for 5, setting a bullish divergence in the RSI. And that will be the cue that we're finishing this and ready for a reactionary bounce up. This is probably the first half of a larger correction in the stock, which is incredible to me because that is huge. That's a very sharp correction. And what can actually happen here is we might get something like this. We get this funky looking, it's not really a double bottom, it's not really a chart pattern, just a couple of zigzags. I mean, this is nuts. Look at the RSI. Insane. You know, typically we get a bullish divergence between waves 3 and 5 of a motive trend, signaling the end of the trend, and then harkening in the next little bounce. And I think that's definitely what we're looking at through here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Going to see a bounce soon in Apple. Let's go look at Tesla, which is faring better than Apple, but is still moving through correction. Here, wave B extended into some sort of triangle. We've got a downward breakout test of the breakout price, and now we're trying to push back down. We'll see if we don't get a move beyond yesterday's low, which would be bearish confirmation. So we have bearish continuation here. We're below that level, and you can see that we may even be once again forming some sort of pennant through here. So annoying. If this is 2 sets of pennants right next to each other, then I would have to say the downside actually might be more limited because we don't typically get a pennant in wave 2. Generally, it's in wave B. So if we're doing a complex measured move down through here, we may need to be on the lookout here for a reversal in Tesla, although I still am suspecting that we're going to reach down to that uptrend. Apple, Tesla. Let's go check out NVDA as well. I was calling for that top on NVIDIA for a long time, like a broken record towards 473. Sure enough, price peaked out there. We've seen a downward push, and now we're testing bearish continuation at 440. We've had the reactionary bounce, hit the target at 457.33, or got close there, 455.67, 455.67. So like a $1.50. That's not bad on a stock that's this trading at this price. Pretty close, really. And maybe I could even like improve that target a little bit if I were to finagle it. I could definitely finagle it like this. Anyway, so we'll see if we get below there for bearish continuation on NVIDIA. Let's go take a peek at AMD because I can't look at one without the other. Still grinding sideways here, which has been the forecast for a while now, and I'm still expecting that. Still expecting that. So AMD and NVIDIA following the analysis as expected. Let's go have a look at IWM. I haven't looked at IWM in a minute. Typically, I don't look at IWM, but I wanted to start adding it to my charts. You can see that I forecasted some sort of ending diagonal triangle through here in wave C at the degree below. I believe this is actually minor, so this would be at the minute degree, and that's the wrong color. Is this actually a cycle degree? If this is cycle degree, then this is actually primary. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. This was definitely an ending diagonal triangle, and we had a downward breakout, and the first push was overcorrected by wave B, and now we have wave C making progress to the downtrend, trying to recover this hypothetical downtrend, which I drew. I'm going to have to work on that chart a little bit more, I guess. Moving on from IWM, let's go take a look at something else. How about, actually, let's go look at WEAT. What is that? I don't know what this is. It's Commodity Trust in Wheat, okay? Jeff Joe asked that I take a look at this one. Of course, if you're speculating on the price of wheat, you're definitely thinking about what's going on in Europe right now. If I were to guess, just looking at this, I see waves 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 of 3, 5 of 3 coming in. So we're actually probably going to be looking for an uptrend in the price of wheat, not based on any kind of speculation about what's going on geopolitically, but just based on the price here. It looks like we need a reactionary trend up to correct wave 3, and then we'll be looking for wave 5 to come down. Perhaps we double bottom at some point in the future. Volume here is ticking up a little bit. We may or may not get above 50 on the RSI. That's really what's to watch there, I think. Let's go take a peek at GLD while we're here. GLD's having a rough go of it, coming down today. This is a terrible chart. I keep saying I need to get a better chart going here, but I'm just not doing it. We're coming down, and this is actually looking kind of interesting through here. There may be something to see. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. I see waves of 3 going back and forth between these trend lines, which to me signals a trend end, and in the downtrend that would mean we'd be coming up. So we could easily be forming an ugly double bottom through here, and we'd be using the height from this low at 176 to this peak at 184 to calculate the price target. You know, if I were to guess, if we do get the bullish continuation, which I'll just take this level, and we'll just move this one right there, then we probably are looking for, let's just do it. We'll call it a clean ABC move, 186 or 192, but gold seems to be following treasury yields. This is the 10-year treasury yield. As you can see, we're coming down. Let me zoom into the daily. Big chunk down. Really interesting. I wonder if bonds are being bought. It's possible, especially if rates are going to continue to rise. Why would you risk your money in the market when you can just sit on the sidelines and make money holding cash or treasuries, right? I mean, it just makes sense. Let's go check out the dollar next and wrap it up. Whew, the dollar is rebounding, and I'm thinking that what we're actually looking at here is wave B of wave 2. Let's just do this, B. Sometimes it's tempting to, oh, that's not labeled correctly. I want a lowercase b there. Yes, it does matter. Okay, caps lock is on. All right, so we're going to have motive A down here. We're in B. We're looking for the next motive wave C to be pushing down lower, and typically that is of equal height to A. And so when B nearly completely or is about equal to wave A, we generally just get a flat through here. Possibly could form some sort of pennant or triangle. Again, I think this is another leading diagonal triangle pointing upwards, not a rising wedge. The same way in SPY, we have that falling wedge, which I actually think is another leading diagonal triangle. And that's important to know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my video called Fake Chart Patterns Exposed, I think is what it's called. It's a really good video. In there I go and identify how you can really spot a chart pattern based on its Elliott waveform and that wave position, because you're gonna see a lot of these chart patterns that, quote, don't work out, and Bulkowski calls these busted chart patterns, and then he has an analysis for them to find those price targets if you aren't using Elliott wave. And of course I use Elliott wave, so I don't use the busted chart pattern analysis style. I'd rather just lean on the Elliott wave. I think that's all I want to do for now. Let's go look at Playboy really quickly, because earnings are, I believe, tomorrow. Price has been coming down through here. I have not been updating this analysis very much, but basically we were moving through a triangle, ABC, 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 and that trend continues, ABC, ABC, and now we find ourselves in another ABC pattern through here, and it's starting to form another pennant. It's just insane. It's like pennantception. Let's go up to the daily time frame and look at the larger, broader view here. You're going to see that we could actually be forming a downward breakout through here. Very possible, very possible. But it's not uncommon that that occurs along the AC trend line, although I think maybe we have points A, B, and this is assuming corrective wave C, right? But if we're counting points of a triangle, it'd be like 1, 2, and in fact, it doesn't look good on the daily like that, does it? Let's try a candlestick chart. I think that's where that was, yeah. So we've had a couple of pushes out beyond the trend line a couple of times. We'll see where we close today. If the RSI can hold near 50, that's looking kind of bearish, right? Looking kind of bearish. We still have this high up here, which is really good, but closing below this bearish engulfing candle is not fantastic. That's really not. If we do get a good earnings and price pushes out and upward, it should be pretty explosive, I think, if that occurs. Otherwise, we're looking to grind sideways through this trading range between $2 and $1.43. I reduced my